It is time.
All right, this is Unfunky UFO by the Great Parliament. One of the awesome records my parents did have was Mothership Connection. So this was my first introduction to the funk, was this album. And, you know, I think this is just a great example of like them basically helping to invent a genre. They're heavy on the one, and then the B section just goes off. And I just love this track. And it was, you know, this album and this track in general was influential on me as a bass player and put me in the funky direction. So here it is.
All right, well, let's get into it. It's Unfunky UFO Parliament from Mothership Connection here on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
Oh, man.
I won't send a grin from ear to ear. A smile is all right through. Oh, but then like a streak of lightning it came, filling my brain with this pain. Without saying a word, his voice I heard. Give up the funk, you punk. Up on the sun. You got the groove.
God damn it, this goes hard.
Yeah, it does.
It's so funky.
Oh my god, that bass line though. That like dancey synth.
Cowbell.
They didn't pay to call the name of some funky five friends of mine. But they were on the road and getting it on, and grooveless thought I was lying. Oh, like a stick of lightning it came, filling my brain with pain. Without saying no word, his voice I heard. Give up the funk, you punk. Up on the sun. You got the groove. Unfunky and obsolete, and out of time.
One thing I love about Parliament is how great and a party they are every time you listen
That's
to
what I
them.
was gonna say.
Sounds like a party.
Literally, when you saw them live back in the day, they're just a party on stage.
It's
And
like
they're-
that now. They have
Yeah.
like this whole like three family
Mhm.
entourage that just
Mhm.
rolls around with them.
And just different characters, and you know their outfits. Kind of, you know, you got Bootsy Collins, you got George Clinton, you got, I mean, just a slew of great performers. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. What do you think, Kai?
Yeah, that so the very beginning, that fat bass just hit
Yeah.
so hard, and it was super buzzy, super
Mhm.
big. But this had everything that I could ever want in a funk song. It has the right beat, of course. It has the bass, and then it
Mhm.
has the rough vocal, like the lead rough vocal, and
Right.
then it has
Mhm.
those harmonies just popping in every now and then.
Yeah.
So it just sells me on the whole damn thing. It's really,
Great
really good
stuff.
choice.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing is this song really has a lot of accolades. The Library of Congress added this album to the National Recording Registry in 2011, declaring that,
Yeah.
quote, the album has had an enormous influence on jazz, rock, and dance music. It was
Oh,
also
wow.
named on VH1's 55th Greatest Album of All Time. And in 2012, it was ranked number 276 on
Wow.
Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time.
I can just sit there and,
Yeah.
in my mind, just thinking of the Library of Congress people. Okay, what are we
Oh,
meeting
yeah,
about today?
like Bootsy.
We are meeting about today about getting parliaments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
An
It
award.
was undeniable. It was
Yeah.
undeniable. It went all the way to the top.
yeah. I can
it's-
see why.
That's
Like,
crazy when the government is like, this is like something that humanity needs
Yeah.
to preserve.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
this?
But they
record.
still didn't know what to call it. They didn't know what to call it. They could be like, this is the greatest funk. They had to
Right,
call
right,
it
right,
whatever
right.
genres that was because they don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like
They
one of the
they weren't cool enough to say it's
It was
the
funk.
right.
Right.
EJ, as a
Like,
bass player, what did you
Yeah.
think? What did you think, man?
Oh man, I mean Bootsy Collins. I mean, he's funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like the godfather of funk in a way to me. Except there's James Brown, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
bass wise,
you got
he's
George
just
Porter Jr.
yeah, he's just he's
Honorable.
great, man. I just really like
Fantastic.
Parliament.
Yeah, the bass playing is just the same as
Yeah.
his personality.
Yeah.
It's unique and apparent. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
right when you're hearing it, you're like, "Oh my god!" Like it comes out of nowhere and it just like sneaks up on you and like
Yeah.
immediately like the first. It doesn't take two licks; it takes one lick.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he comes
Yeah.
through on the first pass and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
and just-
let's
Yeah.
go."
And it's like-
distinguished sound and everything too that he has. Go ahead.
Well, they had the whole thing on the one, and I feel like this is one of those examples when people are like, "Well, if it's on the one, like, how's it funky?" It's like it's just like, "Bam, bam," something,
Yeah.
Right.
The drop is so heavy.
and then let's go, bam,
Yeah.
bam. It's like
Yeah.
so heavy, where it's like
Yes.
this funky thing. It makes you want to dance, but it's also like that nasty, like heavy.
For
And then
sure.
on the B section, it just gets all lively and cool, and the
Mhm.
vocals and the
Yeah.
beat bass line, and I mean, it's awesome. I love it.
Joshua, real quick too. You said that your parents had this album. Did this? I'm
Yes.
assuming this specific song had a pretty heavy influence on you as a
Yeah.
musician.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's all this. I mean, the whole album really. But yeah, like I mean, this just was to me. It was like, oh my god. I don't. It's I immediately I was like, all young is like, why is my nose like this? Why is my lips like this?
Yeah.
Like, it was like the beginning of the stink face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
the
oh my
baby
God.
stank. the
I was
baby
just
stank
like-
face.
That
I
son
remember
is
how
the
old I
stank
was,
face.
but, I mean, I was still listening to the record, so I mean, it was probably elementary school or middle school or something. I was just like, what? And I also
Oh.
remember just being like, why do they want to put handcuffs on my mom? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why would you do that?
She didn't do anything
Don't do
wrong.
that. Yeah, I was like, you don't do that. You guys,
Right.
what's up?
Nice. Kelly McNulty Valenzuela in the chat said that she saw them live about 25 years ago, and it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, it must be wild seeing them live.
Yeah. Oh, I saw them live, Parliament
Oh,
Funkadelic. Yeah, actually, it was at this pavilion, and there was a huge hurricane like the previous season that took the top off, and they still went through with shows, and it started downpouring in this like amphitheater that we were seeing them, and we just stood there and took it, and like
Mhm.
essentially just watched the show like in a poncho, like getting dumped on.
Oh
It
yeah.
was great.
Oh yeah. I saw them back in the '90s. They were very, very, very killer and kicking.
Groovy.
Yeah.
Groovy, just party. They're just the same. I mean, it's just such a great organization they have,
Mm.
and they always bring it, no matter when you see them. Always bring it. Play Now in the chat said you shouldn't ride spaceships with your legs spread like that.
Yeah, you got to keep all your legs and feet inside the vehicles at all times.
You might get hit by a comet.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. They did pretty good.
Let's get back.
Guys
into-
having a good
Oh.
time.
Yeah.
All right.
I know well that they were near, they took me by surprise. They crashed in front of me early this morning, right before my eyes, and they were singing. Oh, sweet old music. You got the groove. And out of time. You got the groove.
Wow. Bootsy
And,
Collins, man, he just carries those songs, you know what I mean? Like, just the melody and everything, it's just all him, you know, for the most part, just keeping it solid in there. Like you're saying, back on the one. And I remember seeing something of him on where he's talking about, like, you know, anybody can play bass, baby. You just got to get back on the one.
That was a really good impression, dude.
It's a party up in here.
And you know, that song was from 1975, and we listened to this Bee Gees song from 1977, and I feel like I'm getting the same thing from both of these songs, which is that they're playing a different game than we play, right? This song, like, it's the same thing as that Bee Gees song, which is meant to be like a marathon, like keep going, chug, 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 right? And I feel like music nowadays, like as it's heading, it's more about like the dramatic ups and downs, like how down can you go, how up can you go, and how you can keep those waves like smacking audiences in the face, as opposed to like this constant tide that like is unrelenting and doesn't stop, right? And I just feel like
Parliament will put you in a trance for sure.
Right, exactly. And I feel like it's just they're going for like different things, right? Than people want. Like audiences wanted something different back then than they do right now. You know what I mean? It's like more like ADD almost, where it's like I need something new now, new. You know, like keep playing with me, as opposed to before, where it's like this sounds great. Let's chill for 25 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people were okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have as much coming at them, you know? I mean, when they got off work, what did they have to do? Sit and watch, 3 channels of television?
Right.
If they're lucky. And then, you know, everybody went out. That's what they did. And so they just wanted to go out and see live music. So there's a lot of, you know, they're looking for a lot of good music out there. And they're ready to hang and not, you know, go from place to place, place to place, and place to place. They go to their favorite place and hang out and dance all night long.
Yeah. And then also like people's just attention spans are like being, you know, destroyed. You know what I mean? And more people want like, you know, 10-second videos, 5-second videos, like, and I feel like it's like that, where it's like people are trying to capture attention in, you know, during a live performance rather than like letting it keep rolling sometimes, you know. And it's always like a fight to see like how you want to essentially like manipulate your audience, you know what I mean? Like what do you want to deliver to them? And I feel like what they wanted to deliver back in the 70s is like a totally different promise than what musicians are like delivering now.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely genre based. I mean there's some
right.
There's, you know, there's some pretty extended tunes out there, some pretty big bands that are playing some jams these days, but I totally agree with you, because it's basically like when you're talking about generalities like that, you're talking about like pop music or like what's popular,
right.
And so it's like I think you're 100% with that. It's like that's why TikTok is so big. That's why
for sure YouTube
the
Shorts.
new electronic music that's at the top, like it's like build drop, and you go to the show and it's verse drop, next song.
Yeah. And even DJs, like I've noticed that like they take short songs and make it even shorter, like for the live set. So when you see the live set, it's literally like 10 seconds of a song into a 10-second drop into another 10 seconds of a song. It's like that.
Wow.
All right. Well, that was a good one. Thank you so much for bringing that great song for us for a very, very awesome first pick. We really, really appreciate that, Joshua. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, this is Mike with Galaxy Jams Reacts. We hope that you enjoyed that React video. Be sure to check out the links below of when we're going to be live streaming our next show, and also how to watch full episodes. Please hit that subscribe button. Every single one helps.